a man was denied a visa to enter the United States 8 consecutive times. Every application rejected, every appeal denied. He kept applying. On the 9th attempt, he got in. 20 years later, that man created the software that connected 300 million people during a global pandemic. His name is Eric Yuan. His company is Zoom. And he is just one of dozens of Chinese-born immigrants who built billion-dollar empires on American soil. While political debates rage over immigration enforcement and border security, an entirely separate reality is playing out in boardrooms, laboratories, and stock exchanges across the country. Chinese-American families now control some of the most valuable corporations in the world. They manufacture the chips powering artificial intelligence. They own NBA franchises. They hold patents that govern how the modern internet functions. And their combined wealth exceeds the GDP of most nations on Earth. These are not inherited fortunes. These are families who arrived with suitcases and student visas and built empires that reshape global markets. Number 8. David Sun and John Tu, the Memory Kings. David Sun was born in Taiwan. John Tu was born in China and raised in Vietnam. Both immigrated to the United States as young men with limited English and minimal resources. In 1987, they founded Kingston Technology in a garage in Fountain Valley, California, with a single product, a memory module that upgraded older PCs. The personal computer revolution was accelerating, and businesses desperately needed affordable ways to expand their existing machines' capabilities. Sun and Tu filled that gap with precision and speed. Kingston Technology grew into the world's largest independent manufacturer of memory products, controlling approximately 70% of the global aftermarket memory module market. The company generates over $15 billion in annual revenue. In 1996, Sun and Tu sold 80% of Kingston to the Japanese conglomerate SoftBank for $1.5 billion, one of the largest private technology deals at the time. When SoftBank needed cash during the Asian financial crisis, Sun and Tu bought their company back for $450 million, repurchasing an 80% stake for less than a third of what they had sold it for. That single transaction may be the greatest buy low, sell high maneuver in technology history. Sun and Tu are famously generous with their employees. When they sold to SoftBank, they distributed $100 million of the proceeds as bonuses to their workforce, a sum that averaged approximately $75,000 per employee. They repeated this pattern throughout the company's history. Their story dismantles the myth that immigrant entrepreneurs exploit cheap labor. They built the dominant memory manufacturer on Earth and shared the wealth with every person who helped them do it. Number 7. Jerry Yang, the directory that built the internet. Jerry Yang was born Yangqi Yuan in Taipei, Taiwan, in 1968. He moved to San Jose, California, at the age of 10, speaking almost no English. His mother, who held a degree in English and drama, worked multiple jobs to support the family. Yang attended Stanford University, where in 1994, he and David Philo created a website called Jerry and David's Guide to the World Wide Web, a hand-curated directory of internet sites organized by category. That directory became Yahoo, one of the first internet companies to achieve mass adoption and the dominant web portal of the late 1990s and early 2000s. Yahoo went public in 1996 and reached a peak market capitalization of over $125 billion during the dot-com boom. Yang served as CEO and made critical investment decisions that shaped the global internet, most notably Yahoo's early $1 billion investment in Alibaba, which eventually grew to be worth over $80 billion. Yang's personal net worth is estimated at approximately $2.5 billion. Jerry Yang's most consequential decision was not building Yahoo. It was investing in Alibaba. That single investment generated more value than Yahoo's entire core business ever produced. Yang recognized before almost anyone in Silicon Valley that the Chinese internet market would eventually rival and then surpass the American one. A Taiwanese immigrant standing in California placed a bet on the Chinese internet and generated one of the highest returns in venture history. He bridged two worlds because he understood both of them. Number 6. Eric Yuan, the man who would not stop applying. Eric Yuan was born in 1970 in Tai'an, Shandong Province, China. After watching a speech by Jack Ma about the potential of the internet, Yuan became obsessed with building video communication technology. He applied for a visa to the United States 8 times over 2 years. Each time, he was rejected. On the 9th application, in 1997, he was approved. He arrived in California speaking minimal English, carrying little more than determination and a technical education from Shandong University of Science and Technology. Yuan joined WebEx, a video conferencing company, as one of its earliest engineers. When Cisco acquired WebEx for $3.2 billion in 2007, Yuan became vice president of engineering. But he grew frustrated with Cisco's inability to build a truly reliable, user-friendly video platform. He left in 2011 to found Zoom Video Communications. When the COVID-19 pandemic forced hundreds of millions of people to work and learn from home. In 2020, Zoom became one of the most essential applications on Earth. Daily meeting participants surged from 10 million to 300 million in a matter of months. Yuan's net worth peaked at over $20 billion. It currently sits at approximately $4 billion. The fact that the man who connected the world during its greatest modern crisis was denied entry to the country 9 times is not irony. It is a structural revelation. Immigration systems evaluate applicants based on paperwork and bureaucratic criteria. They do not measure determination, vision, or technical genius. Eric Yuan's story is the single most powerful argument against restrictive immigration policy. The United States nearly rejected the person who would build the tool that kept its economy, its education system, and its social fabric functioning during a pandemic. Number 5. Min Kao, the navigator. Min Kao was born in 1949 in Tainan County, Taiwan. He earned a doctorate in electrical engineering from the University of Tennessee and spent years working in the defense industry, developing satellite positioning systems for military applications. In 1989, Kao and his partner Gary Burrell recognized that GPS technology, originally developed for military navigation, had massive commercial potential. They founded Garmin in Lenexa, Kansas. Garmin became the global leader in GPS navigation devices, and when the market shifted from standalone devices to smartphones, Kao pivoted the company aggressively into aviation instruments, marine electronics, fitness wearables, and outdoor recreation products. Garmin now generates over $5 billion in annual revenue. The company is publicly traded with a market capitalization exceeding $30 billion. Kao's personal net worth is estimated at approximately $4 billion. He served as chairman and CEO for decades, maintaining the long-term vision that allowed Garmin to survive the smartphone revolution that destroyed every other standalone GPS company. Every competitor in the standalone GPS market was annihilated by the smartphone. Magellan collapsed. TomTom shrank to irrelevance. Garmin alone survived because Min Kao understood that the future of positioning technology was not in telling consumers where to turn left. It was in embedding precision navigation into aviation cockpits, marine chart plotters, and fitness devices where smartphones cannot compete. A Taiwanese immigrant in Kansas outmaneuvered every Silicon Valley company in the GPS space. By refusing to fight the battle, everyone else was fighting. Number 4. Patrick Soon-Shiong, the surgeon who bought the news. Patrick Soon-Shiong was born in 1952 in Port Elizabeth, South Africa, to Chinese immigrant parents who had fled the Japanese invasion of Guangdong Province. He earned his medical degree at the University of the Witwatersrand at the age of 23, becoming one of the youngest graduates in the school's history. He moved to the United States to pursue surgical training at UCLA and became a transplant surgeon, performing one of the first whole pancreas transplants in history. Soon-Shiong transitioned from surgery to pharmaceutical development, founding several biotechnology companies. His company, Abraxis Bioscience, developed Abraxane, a nanoparticle albumin-bound formulation of the chemotherapy drug paclitaxel that improved treatment outcomes for breast, lung, and pancreatic cancers. He sold Abraxis to Celgene in 2010 for $2.9 billion. He then founded NantHealth and NantQuest, Companies focused on using artificial intelligence and immunotherapy to fight cancer. In 2018, he purchased the Los Angeles Times and the San Diego Union Tribune for $500 million, becoming one of the few individuals to own a major American newspaper. His net worth is estimated at approximately $7.7 billion. Patrick Soon-Shiong is a transplant surgeon, a pharmaceutical entrepreneur, a cancer researcher, a newspaper publisher, and a billionaire. He is the wealthiest Chinese American who was not born in either China or Taiwan, proving that the Chinese diaspora's entrepreneurial drive transcends any single country of origin. His parents fled war. He became a doctor who invented cancer treatments and then purchased one of the most important newspapers in America. The distance between his parents' refugee boat and the Los Angeles Times newsroom is the entire arc of the immigrant experience compressed into a single lifetime. Number 3. Lisa Su, the chip architect. Lisa Su was born in 1969 in Tainan, Taiwan, and moved to the United States with her family at the age of 3. Her father was a mathematician and her mother an accountant, both of whom emphasized education with an intensity that Su has described as defining. She earned her bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees in electrical engineering from MIT by the age of 25. She is a distant relative of Jensen Huang, the founder of NVIDIA, a coincidence that places two of the most important figures in the semiconductor industry within the same extended family tree. In 2014, Lisa Su was appointed CEO of Advanced Micro Devices, better known as AMD. At the time, the company was on the verge of bankruptcy, with a stock price hovering near $2. Over the following decade, Su executed one of the most remarkable corporate turnarounds in technology history. She refocused AMD on high-performance computing chips, secured critical manufacturing partnerships with TSMC, and released processor architectures that directly challenged Intel's decades-long dominance. AMD's stock price has risen from approximately $2 to over $150 under her leadership. The company's market capitalization now exceeds $200 billion. Su's personal net worth is estimated at over $1 billion. Lisa Su did not build AMD. She resurrected it. She took a company that Wall Street had written off as dead and turned it into one of the most important semiconductor firms on the planet, competing directly with Intel in data centers and NVIDIA in artificial intelligence accelerators. The fact that she and Jensen Huang share a family connection and now lead the two most competitive companies in the chip industry is the kind of detail that would be rejected as too convenient for fiction. Yet it is real. Two members of the same Taiwanese-American extended family are waging the most consequential technology war of the 21st century. Number 2. Tsai, the dealmaker. Tsai was born in Taipei, Taiwan, in 1964, into a family with a legal and institutional background. His father was a lawyer, and his grandfather had served as a government official. Tsai was educated at Yale University and Yale Law School, then worked as a corporate lawyer and private equity investor in New York and Hong Kong. In 1999, he made a decision that would define his career. He left a comfortable private equity position to join a small, untested Chinese e-commerce startup, founded by a former English teacher named Jack Ma. That startup was Alibaba. Tsai became Alibaba's co-founder and chief financial officer, structuring the legal and financial architecture that would allow the company to grow into one of the largest corporations on Earth. When Alibaba went public on the New York Stock Exchange in 2014, it raised $25 billion in the largest initial public offering in history. Tsai's personal stake made him a multi-billionaire. His current net worth is estimated at approximately $12 billion. He has since purchased the Brooklyn Nets of the NBA and the New York Liberty of the WNBA, along with Barclays Center in Brooklyn, for a combined total exceeding $3.5 billion. Tsai is the quiet architect behind the loudest e-commerce revolution in history. While Jack Ma became the public face of Alibaba, Tsai built the legal, financial, and corporate governance structure that made the company investable by Western institutions. Without Tsai's Yale-trained legal mind structuring Alibaba's complex variable interest entity framework, foreign investors could never have participated in the company's growth. He now owns one of the most prominent sports franchises in America's largest city. A Taiwanese immigrant who studied American law now controls a piece of the Brooklyn skyline. Number 1. Jensen Huang, the architect of the future. Jensen Huang was born in 1963 in Tainan, Taiwan. When he was 9 years old, his parents sent him and his brother to live with an uncle in Tacoma, Washington. The uncle, unfamiliar with the American school system, enrolled the boys in Oneida Baptist Institute in Oneida, Kentucky, a residential school that served as a reform academy for troubled youth. Huang, a child who spoke limited English and had committed no offense, found himself living alongside teenagers with serious behavioral issues. He mopped floors. He shared rooms with students who carried knives. He adapted. Years later, Huang would describe the experience as formative, saying it taught him that he could survive anything. Huang earned his undergraduate degree from Oregon State University and his master's from Stanford. In 1993, he and two co-founders, Chris Malachowski and Curtis Preem, founded NVIDIA at a booth in a Denny's restaurant in San Jose, California. The company initially focused on graphics processing units for video games, but Huang made a bet that would prove to be one of the most consequential decisions in the history of technology. He invested heavily in making NVIDIA's GPU architecture programmable for general-purpose computing, not just graphics. When the artificial intelligence revolution arrived and researchers discovered that GPUs were vastly superior to traditional CPUs for training neural networks, NVIDIA was the only company with the hardware, software ecosystem, and manufacturing relationships to meet the demand. The company's market capitalization has surged past $3 trillion, making it one of the three most valuable companies on Earth. Huang's personal net worth is estimated at approximately $115 billion. Jensen Huang is now one of the 10 wealthiest human beings alive. He arrived in the United States as a 9-year-old who did not fully understand English and was placed in a reform school by mistake. He is now the CEO of the company that manufactures the physical infrastructure of artificial intelligence, the technology that governments, corporations, and military organizations around the world consider the most strategically important development since the internet. Every major AI model, every autonomous vehicle prototype, every advanced scientific simulation runs on NVIDIA hardware. The boy who mopped floors in Kentucky now builds the machines that are reshaping human civilization. Jensen Huang still wears his signature black leather jacket to every public appearance. He still works as CEO. He still runs engineering reviews personally. He did not inherit his position. He did not acquire it through financial engineering. He built it, transistor by transistor, from a booth in a Denny's to the doorstep of the most powerful technology on Earth. 8 families, 8 crossings, a combined fortune exceeding $150 billion. Every one of them arrived in the United States as an immigrant. Some spoke no English. One was rejected 9 times at the border. Another was placed in a reform school by accident. And yet they built companies that manufacture the world's memory, navigate its oceans, connect its meetings, treat its cancers, power its artificial intelligence, and entertain its cities. The question is not whether they belong here. The question is what this country would look like without them. Which of these dynasties impressed you most? The man who survived a reform school to build a $3 trillion company, or the surgeon who bought the Los Angeles Times? Tell us in the comments. Subscribe to Global Status. We track the fortunes that cross borders and rewrite the rules.